Greetings again from Kent with AT Hiking the podcast. I did a short video recently about setting up a hammock and the comfort of having a hammock on the trail for hiking and so forth. And I told you I was going to talk to you a little bit about strapping your hammock to a tree. I'm going to use this post, which I think will make it a little bit easier to understand and easier to see. But you have a strap that at the end of each of your ends of your hammock. And I mentioned to you on the podcast, or on the video last time, that I sew a little H, and there it is right there. Hopefully you can see that, but I sew a little H on the end of one of the straps. That's my head end of my hammock, and I like to know every time I hang the hammock that where my head is going to be relative to the rest of the campsite. So that's why I do that H on the end. But basically what you do is set up your hammock like so, the strap going around the back of your tree. You want to take it over the top of the strap that's coming from the hammock. Just take it over and then bring it back in the opposite direction. And you'll bring it around again, make sure everything is good and flat so there are no soft spots in the line, if you will. Coming over the top and going back in the other direction again. Coming over and going back in the other direction again. Finally, when you've got that about 2 or 3 times, if you have the luxury of having that much material strapping, 2 or 3 times is great. The last time what you're going to do is you're just going to bring it over again, bring it under, and then tie it just like you would a regular knot, just like that, snug it up against the tree, and then bring it around through once and twice. Now, a lot of guys will take the end of this and they'll run it back up through 1 or 2 of the straps that you went around with. They'll come back down again, run it through the loop, and pull it so it's good and snug. That is not coming loose. One of the questions I got on the video that I did recently was the type of strapping that we use. We use the strapping is the kind that does not stretch. You want to keep it so that it stays good and tight. If you find that you have a strap you're not quite sure of, before you start using it for your hammock, what I would suggest you do is take it outside, hang it from a tree, and put some weight on it, and let it hang maybe the strap between 2 trees with a weight in the center, and let it sit that way for a couple, 3 days. Let the sag of the line work out of that line, and then use it. A couple other things too while we're right here. You notice a little string hanging from the end of from the strap right here. If rainwater ultimately works its way down the strap, ideally it's going to find those 2 little drip lines, if you will, and water will then drip down and off of your hammock and not get into your hammock. The bag that I have at the end, and I mentioned this last time, is used to store the hammock, so when I'm finished I just stuff everything back up. I start at the foot, put it all back up into the bag before I disconnect the head, if you will. One other thing, the ridge line that I use is a ridge line that has Kelvar material built into it so that it has little or no stretch at all. And the ridge line is giving me, when I pull my hammock straight and tight, it's giving me the same hang each time from campsite to campsite. Well, I hope that helps you a little bit in how you tie down your strap on the tree for your hammock, and next time we'll talk about some other great hiking tip. Thanks again. This is Kent with AT Hiking.